Welcome on in to our Wednesday live for the Barbershop. I was supposed to have the Barbershop After Dark thumbnail, but I was so enthralled in getting some of this content together for y'all today that I just said, you know what? They see what the thumbnail is. And today I was going to actually go through a couple of mock drafts and go through a large contingency of different other scenarios that the Browns could take at number 6 and 24. And then yesterday the news breaks, or sometime between now and then, Kyler Murray is being released. He's being released by the Arizona Cardinals, and the streets is talking. The streets is jumping. Everybody is moving around. And one of the things that we always got to figure out and get to is, okay, if the streets is talking, I got to decode this thing. You see, Kyler Murray is the latest name and the latest flavor of the week. Earlier this week, I was on UCSS, and we talked about Malik Willis, right? What is going on with that? We talked about Anthony Richardson. What's going on with that? Is Ty Simpson moving up the board, right? But today is a very important episode right now. If you're in the building, hit that like button. If you're in the building, hit that share button. If you're in the building, make sure you comment. And this thing needs to go out, because I'm going to give you a definitive reason as to why this thing happens, right? And I'm going to let you know it has more to do, not necessarily with what the quarterback names are. I'm going to give you down to the root of the problem. And if you have always wanted to know what's going on with the Cleveland Browns fan base, why does the local media react certain ways? Why does it always seem like there's this slant to it? I'm going to give it to you today, so you don't have to worry about it no more, because I think I'm the perfect person to do it. I've been in this game since, I grew up in the area. I've been a Browns fan, and that's one of the things I can say that a lot of people can't. I've been a Browns fan watching this team since I was young. I've been in the industry. I was one of the forefathers of the internet movement when it comes to making blogs on YouTube. I've done it. I've worked for the Browns radio network. I've done it at all different levels. And I think that I've come to a conclusion as to why we are the way we are. And this is going to be very important so you can understand it. And I'm going to give you examples of myself. I'm not going to mention anybody else. I could have came on here and got a bunch of people and did a lot of things, but we're not going to mention that. I'm going to show you based on my life experiences and what I've done in my past and the things that I've come around to understanding. And it wasn't about the other people. What God told me, it was about you. And until you deal with you ain't going to get to where you need to go. So we'll talk about that coming up. A very important episode right here. You know what it is. Barbershop After Dark. Come on in. Let's get a seat. 321 people in here right now. We need that button to be liked. We need that share. We need all of the above, because this is a very important. Usually I come on here and I give you a lot of things, and I can be preachy, and sometimes I can be teachy, and I can give you fun narratives, and we have fun over here. But today is a very important episode, because we're going to give you the key to understanding why we are the way we are in the Cleveland media, the local fan base, and all the above, letter D. And I'm going to do it starting off with the news that Kyler Murray has been released by the Arizona Cardinals, and he has been mentioned as a possible landing position for the Cleveland Browns. If you look all over the landscape, you get to everywhere you want to go. They've been talking about it, whether it's on UCSS, whether it's on Tony Rizzo, whether it's on 92.3 The Fan, ESPN Cleveland, wherever you at. Big Play, wherever you at. Everybody's talking about Kyler Murray, and could it possibly be one of the individuals that are going to be coming for the Cleveland Browns and him being an answer at quarterback? Let's talk about this. Let's get to this. We're gonna set it up the way we're supposed to. And this is from Yahoo, I believe. Where will Kyler Murray land? So there's 3 potential landing spots. These are the top 3 landing spots according to what people are saying where he could go. Now, the last 2 spots, ironically, they have at number 4, the Cleveland Browns, and number 5, the Atlanta Falcons. So let's go over this and get to it, right? It says, where will Kyler Murray land? The Minnesota Vikings. It's a win now, and what Kyler Murray wants to do, win now, is what he could do with the Vikings. They're a roster built for success right now, and quarterback change from Sam Darnold to J.J. McCarthy proved to be a difference in 2025. Darnold won't be walking through that door, but perhaps Murray could be the change that Minnesota needs. The Vikings are loaded with talent on offense. They can give Murray the best supporting cast of his career. His dual threat ability can open up Kevin O'Connell's offense in a way that hasn't been. If they are motivated, and Murray is, Minnesota could quickly right the wrong, becoming a contender in the NFC North again. Here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to premise it and show you a large different things that we talk about. I've never been a believer in J.J. McCarthy. I've never been a believer in J.J. McCarthy, but that never stops people from reaching for quarterbacks. We see it all the time. They moved on from Sam Darnold. They got J.J. McCarthy. He was injured his first year. Top 10 draft pick. This year, he wasn't looking too good. I don't like his game. I've never been a big fan of his game at all. So now you look at a situation where, Darnold wins the Super Bowl. J.J. McCarthy is a guy that takes a step back. They look like it's a potential landing spot right there with Minnesota. Now, let's keep in context. The way it works is Arizona is going to play the majority of his contract. So he's going to be on the books for about $1.5 million if he signs whatever team that he wants to go to. But keep in mind, he has the option to go to any team. So I'm just going to give you the information. This is G. Bush getting his journalist hat on. He can go to any team. So, you have to look at what team fits well with him. Also, what team fits well with their quarterback situation, and also where can he go in order to get the best opportunity to earn potential playing time, get another contract, and become a starter somewhere else. Keep that in mind. The New York Jets. The Jets will be wise to leave no stone unturned this offseason when it comes to the quarterback spot. They can try the draft, reclamation projects, veterans, changing of scenery, and more. Murray might be the most talented of the bunch, but New York is still a team that can capitalize on a better quarterback class in 2027 draft if they're willing to wait that long. However, the biggest factor standing in the way of Murray's heading to the Jets is new offensive coordinator Frank Reich. The OC has typically fared well with taller, more prototypical quarterbacks builds rather than smaller frames. If Reich has learned from his experience with Bryce Young in Carolina, there are certainly worse ideas for the quarterback star franchise. Let's go to the Miami Dolphins really quickly. Out of the old and with the new, the changing in the guard taking place in South Beach as the Dolphins look to move Tua Tagovailoa. Like Murray, both players need plus better check-in and change of scenery candidates since Tua's departure will cost Miami a ton. Regardless of the release destination, Murray could slide into a talented quarterback who shouldn't cost too much. In many ways, it would be the best of both worlds where for the players and the franchise. If the experiment works, the 28-year-old could find a new long-term home in the Sunshine State. So those are the people that are talking about. Those are the candidates what we're looking at, and that's the kind of setup, the backstory as to what we are looking at, right? So let's talk about this. Before we can have this type of conversation, before we get to this, there are a couple of things that we're gonna put out that need to really focus on why it is sometimes, unless you have these three statements or these three core tenets, you are never going to be able to have an honest conversation about quarterback in the city of Cleveland. These three things are things that you must, at least at some level, acknowledge and or examine before you can even have a credible conversation with anybody about quarterbacks. If one of these three things are true, it's going to be increasingly hard for you to have a conversation about quarterbacks. It's almost like trying to convince somebody that the world is round. At some point, you don't argue with those folks. It's like saying, it's almost like saying, how do you prove something to somebody who is willfully ignorant? I'm not going to be arguing every day with people about whether the earth is round or flat, because you need a certain basis of reality for you to even be competent. So let's get to this. These are three things that you must consider. And there's a lot of people who don't consider these things when it comes to having an honest conversation about the quarterback before we get to any of this. Premise one. Let me pull this down. Let me see. Premise one. Stefanski was the main issue. There are a lot of people in the industry who got their information from Kevin Stefanski, got all of their inside information from Kevin Stefanski. He gave them what they wanted to hear, what they were doing, and he'd been here for 6 years. If you can't even come to the grips a conclusion that Kevin Stefanski, the Cleveland Browns and ownership felt that Kevin Stefanski was the main issue, you'll never be able to have an honest conversation about quarterback because you'll always pivot to the fact that the quarterback was the issue. You'll say Andrew Berry was the issue, or it was the quarterback was the issue, or the talent was the issue. If you don't come to the conclusion or even acknowledge that Kevin Stefanski could have been the main problem with this team, you'll never have an honest conversation about quarterback. You'll always continue to do what people do, which was scapegoat. You'll find any reason to blame anybody else other than Kevin Stefanski. And half of the attitude and half of the perception of the people that are upset and picking quarterbacks out of the sky were the same people that will tell you that Kevin Stefanski, he got a raw deal. They cried over him in the last conversation. And Kevin, I think you got a raw deal. They're the same people that was getting. Now, why would you think that those people will be honest about a quarterback when they think that the quarterback was the problem? Kevin Stefanski, if you take a look at what the organization have said, they not only said Kevin Stefanski was the problem, they said his playbook was terrible. He was not as good offensively. He was not a leader of men. The defense didn't like him. He could not get, his team was the most highly penalized team. His special teams were bottom every single year perennially. He didn't develop anybody on the offensive side of the football. And when he took over, that was the most talented side of the football. And yet, his team, year after year after year, after he came here with a loaded offense, got worse. The quarterbacks he brought in were never developed. So when you have this conversation about what we talk about with quarterbacks, if you cannot see that Kevin Stefanski probably was a main issue, and not only probably, you keep saying if the Browns have to feel that way. Because if everybody was bad, and the general manager was horrible, and all of the quarterback room was terrible, and the offense and everything and the ownership, why is it that Kevin Stefanski is the only one gone? Did they get rid of Andrew Berry? No. Did they retain Tommy Rees? No. Did they get rid of Shedeur Sanders after his 7 games, which would have been very easy to do with the 5th-round pick? Explain to me why it seems like they pick. Why would they pick Shedeur Sanders, a 5th-round pick that you can get rid of for no reason? Why would he still be on the roster if Kevin wasn't the fault? Why is it that Deshaun Watson is still on the roster? Well, maybe because they thought he did a terrible job with Deshaun Watson too. I mean, you could cut him, get rid of his cap, the cap hit. We've seen other teams do it. The Broncos did it. They did it. Kyler Murray they're doing it to Kyler Murray, right? He's owed $39 million, right? Listen, I'm confused. Why are they still on the roster if they were the issue? Why is Andrew Berry still here? Why does he get to coach players? Why does he get to pick players again? Why is everyone gone but Kevin? If Kevin they didn't identify him as a problem. I'll wait. I'll wait for it. And doesn't seem like anybody came to his defense in the locker room. As a matter of fact, we've told it. We talked about it many times. Jason Lloyd said the defensive players didn't like him. All right, well, looks like he might have been one of the issues. Let's go to number 2. If you want to have a credible argument about what's going on with the quarterback situation, you need to be able to say, do you believe quarterback is all you need? If you are a person that is not invested in the minutia of football, if you are a person who peddles and speaks about quarterbacks every podcast, and you believe that a quarterback is some sort of shining savior and that you can have bad players everywhere, you can have no line, no receivers, and you believe because you just dialed in on quarterback, then you're never going to be have an honest conversation about quarterbacks, period. Because you have an out-of-date, unrealistic approach about the game of football in general, not quarterback. You don't understand the minutia of the other things that work in concert to having a good quarterback. If a person is arguing with you about why the world is flat, but they only have a 3rd grade education when it comes to geography or geometry or any sort of earth sciences, good luck. It's like trying to explain to your niece a thing called gravity. All she knows is, what's gravity? See, you see the premise here? If you want to have conversations with people and high-level contextual conversations with people, and they don't even know the basis or the structure or how the game works, how can you have that conversation? When you say, hey, I like this lineman because X, Y, and Z, whether it's his hand placement, whether it's base, whether he's good at gap alignments, whether it's zone, whether he's good at outside zone, whether or not he has good functional hamstring, whether or not he can oversets, he undersets, can he get bull rush? Is he susceptible? Does his head in the block? All of these things go into wondering why or judging how an offensive lineman play. If you say, I don't know anything about offensive line, I don't never claim to be a scout, how can you then approach the game of football and say, well, the offensive line doesn't matter? Sure, it wouldn't matter to you because you haven't applied the knowledge of it. Gravity don't matter to a third grader, do it? It don't matter. But just because you don't understand gravity don't mean that the laws don't affect you. Get on a building and jump off. Gravity still work wherever you want to be at. It's the same way with football. Just because you don't understand it don't mean that he's nice. Nas said that. Just because you don't no, Jay-Z said that. Just because he wears a kufi don't mean he's bright. Just because you don't understand don't mean that he's nice. Is it Uchi Wally Wally or is it Mike? Is it Black Girl Lost or Shorty owe you for ice? I've been real all my life. You confuse it with deceit. See, I'm just rapping. I'm just keeping it going, right? Huh? Just because you don't understand it don't mean that doesn't apply. And so when you're talking to people, always evaluate whether or not you got the time, energy, and the effort to argue with these types of folks. Because if you're a quarterback is all you need, it's the most important position. Let me show you what my fantasy team did. You're going to have a long night. I suggest you just look at them and say, yeah, man, we'll see what they do and keep it rolling. Let's go. Let's get to continue the foundation. Continue the foundation. Another way to know if you can have a competent conversation about the quarterback position in football is to know whether the media or that person trusts media rumors over players. If they trust what they heard from anonymous people or the people who played the game and understood it at a very high level. Because it seems to me that there is a grave difference between what the people who give conversations like this and opinions have to say about quarterback play and football play, or the guys that actually did it. And you notice when this happens, always, and I'm gonna just tell you guys how to work with this. Don't even tell them G. Bush. Always repeat this. Well, you know what I would like you to do? I would like you to next time when somebody says this, hey, here's what I want to do. I want you to quote what one of the pros says, and then ask said person, well, listen, I know you have your opinion, but you seem to be demonstrative right now, but did you see what this person said? Kind of like this. When I told you Malik Willis wasn't an option weeks ago. But time has come and gone, and now all of a sudden, yeah, it looks like Malik Willis isn't going to be around. But I told you weeks ago Malik Willis was never an option. And by the way, it wasn't even about the option. It was the fact that I told you he wasn't even good like that. Let's start, because when I drilled down on it, I said, you tell me, make them rap. Make them rap. You tell me what Malik Willis is good at and how many games you saw him play. And I guarantee they can't give you 3 to 4 sentences about why they are so enamored with it. They can't. They just can't. Kind of like this. When they tell you about all this good contextual stuff, you bring this up. I got the tweets. Let's talk to them. Who said this? Let me ask, who said this? Let me make sure y'all can see. Get all that. Kurt Warner. I took a break from the draft prep to dive into Malik Willis tape. Over the last couple of years, being that he is one of the hottest names as we head into free agency. My conclusion is that there is really 28 dropbacks. I took out screens, quick pitch and stick throws at 5 yards, and quick scrambles. Over the last 2 years, that will determine his future. That is crazy to think about if we are talking about $25 to $30 million a year. Hashtag study ball. Coming so you can come up with your own opinions and assessments. Don't tell them what G. Bush told him to say. You bring up these people. Kurt Warner's an MVP. Kurt Warner played quarterback. Why didn't you say that when Kurt Warner was moving around? Bernie Kosar, he's the best quarterback y'all had in the city. You heard what he said about the quarterback situation. Why is it to seem like they got a different opinion? Why does it seem like the opinions of those on the outside and anonymous people always seem to have a little bit more juice than the guys that they think about, right? Let's continue on. Rand Carthon, former general manager in this league, former player in this league. They tell you all the time that Browns ain't going to be good to 2029. They ain't going to be good to 2030. Well, this isn't what other people's talking about. This ain't what the people that be kind of know and be talking about, huh? Can we listen to him?
Joe Bitonio's headed towards retirement. I would have talks with Wyatt Teller and Ethan Posick about bringing them back. The way Harold Fannin has played, it made Njoku expendable. Devin Bush has been a solid player. Shelby's older, but he's been a veteran presence for him. We do have to have a conversation about Jack Conklin. He's only played 8 games this year in 2025, and he's never played a full season as a Cleveland Brown.
Look at the helmets behind him. Look at the footballs behind him. I'm just saying, this is in his man's cave. I continue to ask questions. Why are these not questions asked to the real people? Stop bringing on journalists. Where are all the evaluators? I'm sure you can get these guys on. You can't get Kurt Warner on? Where Bernie at? Huh? I'm confused. Rand Carthon got all these helmets back behind him. But all of a sudden, I'm confused why you bringing, hey, listen, these young dudes, they still got Similac on their breath. I see too many 24-year-olds who ain't done nothing. I see too many 24-year-olds with cardigan vest on and North Face jackets and high collars that's running around here talking about what they scouted and probably not. Bro, you ain't lifting no weight, not one. Where did you go again, sir? Who did you study under, my G? Well, let me tell you what a former GM said. Now, they keep telling me the Browns is 35 years away. What did he say?
You're going to have to draft wide receiver 1. Why would you want to commit north of $20 million?
Yeah. Is there a quarterback to be had at pick 4?
I don't know that there will be as it currently stands. Are we going to be able to protect this guy? Are we going to be able to surround him?
You sound like Sean King said, bro, look, I just had him on. What you mean? Man, I got Mendoza, high 2nd round pick on my board. Every time I hear these dudes talk about these quarterbacks, this is the nondescript, no-name face. It's like, bro, you serious? This is what we're talking about?
Him with players and what is that going to look like? If they can match 2025 success with the 10 picks of 2026, I'll say they are a year away from being a playoff team.
Now, what? If they can match the picks that they did with 2025 and 2026, a former football player, a former GM in this league said the Cleveland Browns can be with another draft like that in 26 is a year away from being a playoff team. That is what he said. Did he say they was a Kyler Murray away? Did he say they was an Anthony Richardson Hail Mary away? Was it 35, 40 million for Malik Willis, who we seen play 2 snaps? Kurt Warner just said, this man threw 28 passes. And whoop. But don't take my word for it. I just continue to bring the facts. See, when you come over here, believe it or not, what people say is, I don't have to mention the names. I just formulate this a little better than you. I don't even need much time. It's too easy. So walk in the park. Because when I go pull up the guys that understand it, when I pull up the guys that have done it, when I pull up the guys that has actually been in the trenches, they got a totally different thought process than you do. We'll continue to keep talking. Maybe it wasn't just then. If you trust the media over players, then you would ignore this.
How is it having Shedeur as QB1?
Man, it's fun. Shedeur.
How is it having Shedeur as QB1?
Man, it's fun.
What? He said what? She posed, how is having Shedeur as QB1? Do they know something we don't? Well, maybe if you believe anonymous sources from dudes that's 24-year-olds that ain't never done nothing, that say buzzwords and catchphrases that really don't be saying nothing. Maybe if you trust a person who don't be in the locker room, who don't know this person, who don't be walking around, who ain't in the mix, who don't, bro, ain't no sources to be had. Y'all out here swimming. Last week it was Willis. That ain't happening. Now it's Anthony Richardson. My question to you, and we'll get to your psychology, the fact that you want all these people says more about you than them. Why you always want somebody's leftovers? You always think you can get somebody else's stuff to make it better. Let's continue. Come on now.
How is it having Shedeur as QB1?
Man, it's fun. Shedeur is, he's a great talent. Also, he's got a good personality. He's fun to be around. Me and him are very attentive to detail in practice.
Oh, nice.
But you're going to pay attention to somebody who says he don't know his plays that can't even watch practice. You do know beat reporters don't watch practice. You do know they can't watch a practice, right? You do know that they're not allowed filming, right? You do understand. So what are you telling me that I don't know? This man said me and him is attention to detail. Are you going to pay attention to him or your buddy?
So, we got personalities. We spend a lot of time outside of the building, so being with him is cool.
What's he like in the locker room? Is he a leader?
Yeah, I think, to be a quarterback in one of any team, you have to have that locker room and have a voice. So I think a lot of the guys believe in him.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the guys believe in him. Are you going to believe your buddy? The anonymous, whatever guy you heard that you trust? Stop telling me who you trust too. I don't know them. I don't listen. I don't trust nobody. I trust God. What you talking about? I trust the guy. What is that, bro? You sound like an old school insurance salesman. No disrespect, but them little buzz phrases that get people. Oh, I trust the guy. Well, I don't trust you. If I don't trust you, why I care who you trust? What? I trust this person. So, and easy money. So if you trust media nonsense over what players are on the record saying, we have a problem here, Houston. We got a problem, my G. We got one. By the way, the new coach just talked today. The new offensive coordinator. I didn't hear him talk about Anthony Richardson and nobody. But Dr. Green, but G. Bush, people around the league. You think, bro, listen. See, I ain't really going. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go nuclear. I'm not going to do that. I told you this was about me. But it's very easy. Do you know how? Listen, I don't even stand on that. How many times? Let me just let y'all know. I'll be sourced out. If you thought I didn't have no sources before, G. Bush sourced out. But how many times do I come on here telling you about what I heard about people around the league? You know why? I put my own work in. That don't do nothing for me. It's a confirmation of what I already thought or knew to start with. But I don't need to go around telling what people around the league. That buzzword does nothing for me. I stand on my own. I stand on my own too. What are you talking about? So I don't need to go around saying that, but it's very easy to do. Guys around the league say. Guys around the league. Okay. Well, we're going to keep it pushing. Let me show you forget about what guys around the league and scouts around the league who is outside the building. Let's talk about what the offensive coordinator said.
And there's pieces here that we are excited about. I mean, Fannin, it starts with Fannin, Judy, Shedeur, and what he was able to show.
But people around the league are saying, I just keep turning around and seeing offensive coordinator. I keep saying coach. I keep seeing GM, new offensive coordinator, players. I mean, but how many times are we going to say what other stop? Just come on now. Come on now.
Last year, Deshaun and what he's shown in his past, and Dillon and what he was able to show last year as well. The offensive line obviously is something that we're going to be looking to add to. And
where is this? See, the level of urgency that y'all got in your chest when y'all be talking about these other moves that's about to happen that never happened. I'm confused by him because this man don't look like he got some urgency. I don't know who's out here beating Kyler Murray's ears up. Where's this energy at? Who's Anthony Richardson out? The only energy coming from that is the people that's writing. But the people that's involved, they're speaking a whole another tune. Hey, look, bro. Hey, don't take my word for it. I'm the only one that think about this. I am the only one that will come and show you what they said. Give me another person. Who? I will tell you in intricate terms, boom. Oh, you didn't think that was it? Let's see what they say right here. Let's continue on. We still cooking. Hey, if you just missed, rewind the beginning. That's going to be one of them.
in addition to develop, the guys that we have here, with Whippler, possibly Joel. Yeah, I mean, there's pieces here that we are excited about. I mean, it starts with Fannin, Judy, Shedeur and what he was able to show last year, Deshaun and what he's shown in his past, and Dillon and what he was able to show last year as well. The offensive line obviously is something that we're going to be looking to add to, and in addition to develop, the guys that we have here, with Whippler, possibly Joel. I'm not sure, certainly going to come up as well, but we're allowing him some time to kind of figure that out. But there's a lot of pieces here to be excited about. It kind of goes on what I said about the quarterback room. I mean, you don't take a job unless you're excited about the pieces that you have.
This is why cognitive dissonance is alive and well. This man just told you don't take a job unless you have things that you are excited about, looking dead in your face. But you spent 2 months telling people how bad the job was and how everybody had to go. That's not only cognitive dissonance, that's pure ignorance. It's ignorance. And people should not have time for ignorance. I am grown. We got to pay taxes. It's a lot, life too short. My life is way too short to be arguing with people with sheer ignorance about made up things in their own mind because you're projecting. Stop saying what other people were saying and just say you said it. See, I would respect you if you just stood on business. I would respect people if they just stood on business. But half the business is over here on the left-hand side. Half the business over here is in the game of I believe everything that I'm saying about Shedeur, but I'm going to put it on other people because you don't want to stand on business. Just say you don't think you're that good. There's another group of people that's in the middle somewhere hedging their bet. You're hedging the hell out your bet because you're like, well, if Shedeur isn't really good, if he's not good, then I'm going to lose credibility because people are going to tell me that I love Shedeur Sanders and he wasn't very good. And it's not about being me. I just want to be right. So you'll say, all right, well, Shedeur, I like him, but yeah, Anthony Richardson might be the guy. Why would my football acumen, why would I understand and have an evaluation on Anthony Richardson and then think he was ready to come out to start with? Why would I not think Malik Willis was that good when he left Liberty? And why would I just do that based on the fact that I want to be right in this conversation? It has nothing to do with football. Let me just tell you something. If Shedeur Sanders go out there and does not perform well, does that mean everything that you talked about and broke down and got to in football means that you are being diminished? No, don't, because here's the problem. The work you put in will validate that. Because when Shedeur Sanders either plays well or bad, you got over almost 1,000 members in here that's going to have an opportunity to watch the film session, and we go over. So we're going to get to see it in real time. We're going to get to educate in real time. So for those that are just one, so we'll get a real evaluate. And one of the reasons why people say, oh, the only reason people watch you, G. Bush, because you be pandering. No, people watch me because they know I got integrity when it comes to the game of football. And I'm not going to sit up here and have a commentary about something that I don't know about. The same way we talk about receivers, the same way we talk about offensive linemen, the same way we're going to talk about them. And quiet as kept, the 1,000 people over here, they had not one problem saying if Shedeur threw a bad ball or Shedeur threw an interception or he couldn't do that or I need to have his energy. You know why we do it? Because we do watch parties in live time with the process. So those who don't know, we encourage you. We welcome all people. Come on over and show the work and proof we put in. But for you, come on, guys. Look what this man said. Just you listen to what he's talking about.
Is here to be excited about. It kind of goes on what I said about the quarterback room. I mean, you don't take a job unless you're excited about the pieces that you have.
I didn't say it. He said it. Next time, I want you to get an interview with him. Maybe he can talk you into it. He ain't the only person. One person that's been holding it down since Jump Street, 21 Jump Street. And I wholeheartedly believe, and think about this. This is why when you got to watch out. See, sometimes there's a thing called fatigue. And what happens, this is a tool used over and over again. And what happens is you get mentally fatigued about correcting people. It happens in politics all the time. It happens when people use these talking points. They say them over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. You don't want to argue with people because it becomes draining, right? When you keep arguing with a person about something that's patently false, it doesn't become about the conversation moving forward. It becomes about you defending the stupid stuff that they said. So what happens is he's bad. He's horrible. He's not good. He's just not good. He's worst of all time. It's easy to say that. But to debunk stupidity, you have to go point by point by point by point. And you got to battle on all of those hills. And at some point, you just don't want to talk to them folks no more because it makes your brain hurt. But Mel Kiper, he pretty much brings up a lot of the things that we talked about, right? Let's talk about this.
Competed the arm strength in those weather conditions, didn't have an issue there. And in terms of mobility and athleticism, he showed that. People said he couldn't do that. He held up physically, taking hits, some incredible shots he took. So, to me, I don't know what else you would want, considering what he had to go 3-4. Could have very easily been 4-3. Like I said, when he was on the field with Cam Moore, did you see much difference there? The number one pick and a fifth-round pick, did you see much difference? I didn't. Obviously he's already proven to be better than Dillon Gabriel, who was the third-round pick. And is he their quarterback of the future? I think he is. The doubters are and the haters are going to be out there saying he's not. Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But I got to believe he's surpassed expectations by miles, considering what he had to overcome this year.
Well, let me just show you, because I want to show you. Listen, I want to be picture point with this. Now, you see what he said, right? Some of those things that he just said, right? Now, watch this. This is the way the game works. He said that for Shedeur Sanders, right? Watch what somebody said who's been one of the biggest detractors of Shedeur Sanders in terms of he's one of the first people that talk about the draft slide. This dude he might have been a co-conspirator. This dude has been on record hating so much. But watch some of the same things that he says in terms of the guy that he likes. See, it's all about who you can identify and what you like. Watch how this man has all of this stuff to say about one Ty Simpson, but all of this stuff that he's saying for him don't apply to Shedeur Sanders at a more difficult position in the league.
Are you on the second quarterback? Where are you on
Ty
that?
Simpson. Ty Simpson all day long.
He was spinning really nicely. I thought he looked the part, Todd, but the question is where?
Now watch the laundry list of the same quote-unquote excuses that Shedeur Sanders is people are saying for him and his contingency, but watch the level of mental gymnastics this man goes through to build up Ty Simpson when it was so easily available to tear down another quarterback in Shedeur Sanders last year, even though he just showed the same thing this year. Let's watch.
Where do you have him landing? What do you think?
I'm in the camp that the gap between he and Mendoza is not nearly as big as the public seems to think.
Okay.
Although I understand it. And it's much greater between Simpson and QB3. Specifically, if you were kind of dropped into this as an NFL coach, right? And you were handed the first 8 or even 9 tapes for both Mendoza and Simpson, I promise you Simpson's tape's better. It just is. Now, Simpson's 6'1". He's 211 pounds. He's got 15 starts, and his 1 year as a starter, he wasn't able to stay healthy throughout the year. So let's dig a little deeper into it. What happened from games about 10, 11 on? Offensive line, the protections were kind of figured out by Brent Venables in that first game.
Oh, so offensive line do count. You think? So for Ty Simpson, his offensive line was figured out. Not to mention he's at Alabama. He ain't playing for Oregon State. He ain't playing for Miami of Ohio. He's not playing for Western Michigan. He's playing for Alabama. Continue on. What else do you automatically see now, Todd, where your eyes are open and you want to be fair today? Let's talk about it.
And it didn't get better as the season went on. They were copycat in terms of, all right, we figured out the tendencies, so we're going to get more pressure on Ty. Running game was 126th in the nation, I think it was, which is like, you can't even fathom that if you're an Alabama fan.
Oh, so you need a run game. Wow. So Quinshon Judkins not being able to be around at the end of the year and offensive linemen averaging 2 yards a carry, guys getting hit in the backfield. So that counts too? Wow. Look how reasonable you are with Ty Simpson. You're so reasonable right now, Todd. You're so reasonable. Let's continue on.
Then you've got your star wide receiver, just disappears. Ryan Williams came into recruiting. It was him and Jeremiah Smith were like 1-1A. And Ryan Williams can't catch the ball, confidence, he's gone.
Oh, so it hurts when your receivers like Jerry Jeudy drop the ball. Wow. So now receivers count too? This is crazy. His number one receiver just gone. Just finito, done, finito. So when the ball went right through Jerry Jeudy's hands in a perfectly thrown ball against the Chicago Bears for a touchdown, that didn't register. But when you gave your assessment on Shedeur Sanders and you asked Urban Meyer, which I played on this show too, you said, my good sir, that I think he needed to mature and continues to mature moving forward. And he might be a good quarterback, but not in Cleveland. I think, why are your assessments so measured here? Why do you have all of this? Let's continue. Tell me more about this Ty Simpson that we didn't see. Let's talk.
And so the hits start to pile up and the injuries and the beating that he's taking.
Wow, the offensive coordinator, Shedeur was getting smoked back there. Finger injuries, sacks, tackles, lookout blocks. And he was the leading rusher, by the way, taking a pounding, running the football too. Oh, wow.
And he, gastritis, I think it is, down to 190 pounds by the time the Rose Bowl came along. So, listen, they're all.
Did he just say he had a stomach ache? I get it. He lost some weight, bro. Like, okay.
All excuses, and it is what it is. But if you're looking for the best of Ty Simpson versus the best of Mendoza, I don't see it as a huge gap.
That's how we're judging? So we're now on the best of the best, right? So let's take his premise and say that if you want the best of what Shedeur Sanders has done in his rookie year, and you take a look at the best of what Tyler Shook and Jackson Dart and even the #1 overall pick, Cam Ward, if you want the best versus the best, then Shedeur Sanders by far outpaced every single rookie in one game. If that is what the criteria now is, what you are now proposing now, it's the best of what he was versus it ain't that. If you want the best, I mean, his best versus Mendoza best, I'm just saying it ain't that crazy. Ain't it funny how they can squint and make it look the same way they want to? This is why the powers of the Black Panther have been stripped away. We're taking your power back, fellas. See how it's easy to project and do what you want to say and how you want to move it. And it's my opinion. Well, guess what? There's a lot of opinions out here. I'm just showing you how to break this down. All first verse. I didn't say it. Man, oh man. Guys out here swimming. They out here swimming. By the way, Acho, what are you doing? You definitely a dude with no sources. You just out here talking. What is Acho talking about? I mean, right now, is it the fact that, hey, listen, Shady, you gotta get your boy together. You gotta get your mans together. Shady, your man's out here swimming. What is he talking about? What are you talking about?
Dora, do what you got to do to win the job. I know if you feel like the job is yours, you're probably not buying coach's gifts. It just kind of says like you're probably not that comfortable with your position as the starter or potential starter. You got to play the game when you can't play the game.
Oh, I'm not saying that.
And this comes from someone who played the game.
Not very well. Never see, don't do that. Don't you do that. Don't you do that. You let him talk. So let me get this straight. Which is it? Do you want Shedeur to be out here working hard, putting in work, not assuming anything, and putting his best foot forward and trying to earn a position? Or do you want him to think that he's somehow complacent and already has it locked up? Because what you're saying is it's a bad thing for him not to have the thought process that he's 1,000% the starting quarterback. Which is it? Because last week you just said you want him to come in working. That's what everybody thought, right? I want him working. I mean, can we get the picture? I mean, bro, Shady, you got to get your mans, bro. Them glasses is getting bigger. It's getting real cartoonish right now. What are you talking about, bro? What do you look how Shady looking at that man?
Shedeur, do what you got to do to win the job. I know if you feel like the job is yours, you're probably not buying coach's gifts. It just kind of says like you're probably not that comfortable with your position as the starter or potential starter.
Why would Shedeur be comfortable as a position? Didn't the coach tell him that everybody was going to work? Didn't Myles Garrett say we're not giving positions away? Why would it seem like, once again, that's your narrative. You're projecting. See, what you're saying is I'm in no man's land as a person who is paid on opinion. And what I'm doing is I'm projecting that my insecurities is I don't know if Shedeur is going to be the starter, and I don't know if I really want to jump out here and put my flag in the ground, because you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You know, Matt Barnes already told you, Coach Prime don't forget nothing. So you might as well just chalk that up. That's already done over here. The second part is, well, are you going to really be in the club? I mean, it's way bigger haters than you. Come on now. You got to beat Jason Whitlock out. You can't be a bigger hater than him. What are you going to do? You can't beat him out, so you're in no man's land. So you got to figure this out, man. You got to pick a side. And that's kind of how they make us do, right? You pick a side. What are you talking about, my guy? What are you saying? Not much. Let's talk about this. People don't realize Shedeur would be the best long term. Oh, no, they understand it. It's just the fact that they might not be able to capitalize off of it, or it might not be. Like if Shedeur, like think about it. I already told people I don't want no. Like, listen, I come over here and stand on my own too. But if you're not traditional, Shedeur ain't pulling up to that. He ain't coming to none of them shows. Where does information come? Think about this. Think about this. Say, for instance, the Browns is good. Shedeur becomes a franchise quarterback. Andrew Berry's second class is dope. If you're a regular media dude, where are you getting anything from then? Where you think AB just about to pull up and just give you some content? No, it's over. It's done. See, that's the scary thing. It's over. You see, when you watch the Game of Thrones, we're going to get philosophical here. Hit the like button, 1800. The first part of the show was fun. We gave you audio visuals, but this is where it gets deep. See, in the Game of Thrones, always remember, you only as useful as people got time and can benefit off you. People in this industry don't do nothing. People say, what I got relationships. No, them relationships is only beneficial as what you can do to somebody, and if it's mutually beneficial. The second it stops being mutually beneficial, you will be thrown under the bus, discarded, and kicked to the side. Long live the king. The king's dead. I'm the new king. The hand of the king is only as loyal as the strength projected and the long-term viability of the king. Because when the king gets old, when the king gets fat and lazy, when the king use all his money, all the gold in the coffers, and the royal bank is bankrupt because he done used it on parties and illicit actions, when he start marrying 10 different wives, when he start getting complacent and ain't hungry no more, the hand of the king gonna look at them like, I need to find my next plate. I got to find my next situation. And what's my next situation? Is it his brother that got the army? Is it his oldest son who got the people's heart? Is it the religious faction over here that got all of the gold and can raise an army on their own? Or maybe is there somebody from the outside that can come in and show me something different? You only as good as the power you can project. So now, it's a lot of people looking for allegiance. This is crazy. I mean, this is why these blogs is crazy, bro. I don't even know why. This is crazy. Let me continue on. Let me get to my main thesis. Why is it that we are like this? Why is it that we are always looking to find through somebody else's scrap heap? Why is it a new name every single week? Let's get to it. When you talk about Kyler Murray, let's talk about and give you the reality of what people in Arizona are saying. Y'all want to see what people in Arizona are saying? This is what they're saying about him.
Took Arizona long enough to admit it because they drafted him number 1 overall, and then they gave him the contract. But Kyler Murray, over 7 years, never truly played winning football. The idea that everyone's phone is buzzing at the combine about what's going to happen to Kyler is absurd, because Kyler doesn't move the needle in any fashion in the NFL. But Kyler Murray has never once demonstrated through 7 years and almost $170 million in cash, tax-free, by the way, in Arizona, that he is capable of winning a Super Bowl or leading an organization. He just hasn't shown anything. He hasn't shown resiliency. He hasn't shown true playmaking ability. He hasn't shown consistency. He hasn't shown any of that. People will talk Kyler because people want to know where the quarterbacks are going to land.
Well, he breaking it down for y'all. They're going to talk Kyler because the media is hyper-focused on the currency of the NFL. And make no bones about it, the currency, lifeblood of what the NFL is and why it is it is where they at in the 24-hour news cycle is because they made the industry revolve 24 hours a day around the movings of not just your quarterback, but the pursuit of all quarterbacks.
And there's a chance he could go to a big market team like the Jets, or the chance he could go to an iconic franchise like the Steelers. But Kyler Murray sucks. Kyler Murray is a better version of Justin Fields and a little bit shorter. He sucks. And for years, people have said, no, Kyler's good. Trust us. And yet, again, after $170 million, Kyler Murray has proven he's what? I just do not think, as far as the NFL is concerned, that Kyler Murray moves the needle whatsoever.
These are what they're saying in Arizona. This is what people are saying in Arizona. And by the way, I'm just giving you what they're talking about. I'm just being fair. I don't watch Kyler Murray all the time. I think he made some plays. He's athletic. He's fast. But the problem I got with Kyler Murray, as I said on UCSS, when they hit me up and woke me up saying, what you think about Kyler? I said, bro, I ain't no fan of Kyler Murray. His stature, his injury process, the fact that he's missed the whole half of the season in 2025. He's torn his ACL. He is a smallish quarterback that is going to be forced to win from the pocket when it counts. And he has not shown the ability to do that. Now, based on this guy's conversation, let's take a look and see what other people said. Now, these are Arizona Cardinals fans. These Arizona Cardinals fans. Ed Gordo, for once, this is actually a reasonable, sensible take. Kyler Murray is meh at best. These are Arizona Cardinals fans, not me. Absolutely. He's never taken his job seriously. By the way, it was the offensive mastermind Cliff Kingsbury who lobbied for the Cardinals to draft him first overall. Bringing in Kyler would be a good way to mask a tank. That's wild work. You bring him in on a one-year vet minimum, so it looks like you're trying. But he's losing all these games, and now we have a top 5 pick in the draft. This is what you can't make this up, people. This is why. Woo. Boy, I tell you, this is why this hits different. This is cold work. This is what the Cardinals folks is talking about. By the way, my man Xavier P brought up a very good thought process. Watch this. You ever notice too, when we talk about the Browns and all the media tells you what they need to be, why this coach need to be here, and why this quarterback is here. You need to go with this quarterback. You need to understand this quarterback. This quarterback, you flip the tires on this. Watch this. Xavier P, you cold for this one. So let me get this thought process. When you talk about the Cleveland Browns and the media brings it up, here's the 4 things that revolve on a 24-hour news circuit. Circular argument. If the roster is trash, which they talked about, the roster being not good and reason why coaches would not want to come here, especially the quarterback room. If Jimmy is the worst owner of football, which that people have been circulating that for years and years and years on record. If Todd Monken was your last pick, they only took Todd Monken because none of the other hot shot coordinators, and he's not well thought about around the league. They said that on afternoon. Nick and Peterlin said that. He's not well thought about around the league. And if the Browns roster overall is a bottom 5 roster, why would you connect every free agent quarterback to the Browns then? This is why you guys don't do critical thinking. If these are your 4 circular arguments, why is it then after you say all of that, you believe that free agent quarterbacks are going to want to pull up and show up? By the way, let me just tell you about this too. You guys do know players do pick where they're going. If it comes down to it, obviously money is going to be the biggest part. Money is a thing. Opportunity is a thing. Roster is a thing. But let me tell you something. You don't think players are talkative? Watch this. Think about this. The number 1 overall pick, Tim Couch, in 1999. does not like the Cleveland media at all. Brian Sipe, he don't be pulling back up. We can't even get a Brian Sipe interview. Bernie still pulls up. He's beloved because the people love him. But Johnny Manziel, well, he had his problems. He don't talk to. He ain't doing it. You want to keep going? When the last time you heard any of these dudes pull up to the audience? You know Deshaun Watson don't like the media. You know that, right? You do know Baker Mayfield can't stand the Cleveland media, right? You know what Coach Prime think about the media, right? You don't think all these players talk? If everything is equal and the money is here and it's a good opportunity and it's between me picking a city where they chew up quarterbacks and spit them out, y'all don't like nobody for different reasons. Who did you like? Name me one quarterback that you liked. Some of them weren't no good. Some of them, like Johnny Manziel, had their own problems and they had the right to be a little upset up. But in general, who do you guys like? You bring quarterbacks in, you discard them. You follow them around. Deshaun Watson towards Achilles heel, you got people online talking about, I don't want to see his face. He shouldn't even be able to show his face. What? What kind of noise does another grown man say that type of stuff? I don't like people like that around. That right there, that's a crash. Those are crash out candidates. For somebody, if I'm moved by emotion to see Deshaun Watson on Instagram sharing a meal with his wife, that says something more about me than him. It says all you need to know about me, if that's what I'm thinking about. A football player is sharing a meal with his wife, and because he wasn't good like I thought he was supposed to be, and he rich, I don't like it. Bro, you might need to go sit up underneath somebody and figure out what's going on with your life, because that says more about that's disturbing a little bit. That's disturbing a little bit, dog. Speaking of, let's get to this. Watch this. We done went round and round. But we got to talk about this to end the show. I'm going to tell you why these people do what they do and how they move and why it is that we are in the fan base. And I'm going to compare it to myself. See, the Cleveland Browns is in a place of, we're at a position where we running around here speed dating. We running around here looking for all of these quarterbacks. And the word of the day is projection, because you are projecting all your insecurities out in public on these quarterbacks. You see, the Cleveland Browns, when you ain't never been good, when you ain't never seen a winner, when you don't even have somebody over a sustained period of time since Bernie Kosar that could put you in a position to even be a competent winner over over, you start to be a person that doesn't understand what a good relationship looks like. You don't understand what good football is supposed to be. It's kind of like the person who is always in bad relationships over and over and over again. And every time they get in a relationship, it starts off cool. And then you know what starts happening? You stop pretending. You stop being able to mask all those little insecurities and the baggage you carry around with you from year to year. Maybe the baggage came from your mom. Maybe it came from your dad. Maybe it came from your family structure. Maybe somebody did something to you when you're young. Maybe it came from the fact that you grew up in poverty. Maybe it came up that you was too self-entitled, and maybe you didn't have to work for anything. Whatever it is, you're carrying it with you. And it's always the other person. It's never you. It's never you. All of a sudden you start to say, hey, what happened to you and so-and-so? We were good, but I'm a little alarmed at X, Y, and Z. And because you're in the middle of it, you think that this is something new. But everybody around you sees the pattern. Everyone around you sees that the pattern is, yeah, you're cool until you actually start being yourself. And then that's where the problem starts. Your insecurities, your jealousies, your selfishness, all those things start to play a role, and all of a sudden your relationship is back to where it was. It don't matter the names, it's the same thing. But I'm going to tell you how this has to do with me. Not everybody else. Let's show you how this works. Because first and foremost, it starts with this. As we move along. Let me get it right. Hold on, here we go. Hold on. There it is. It starts with the illusion of action. See, the illusion of action, when you out here and you moving around, I had to do a lot of self-searching after my divorce and multiple engagements. And what I was told was, as these things started to transpire, God started showing me it's about you, not them. So as I'm moving around and, I get married and we in a relationship and we doing things, sometimes you have the illusion that the actions that you're doing, the work you're putting in, is actually real, earnest effort. See, it's a difference between going through the motions and actually understanding and comprehending your behavior. It's easy to say things because it sounds good. But if you say, I'm willing to sacrifice, yeah, you can say that, but is it really sacrifice if you say it, but then begrudgingly do it? No. See, sacrifice is selfless. You can't use sacrifice and then come back and say, I'm only sacrificing because it's a one-up on you. I only did that. I only take the trash out so I can tell you that you got to do something. I only not get myself something because I'm going to buy something that's outrageous 2 weeks from now. And I'm going to tell you, remember when I said I didn't want it the last time? Well, now I should be able to get it because I fell back to. That's not selflessness. That's being manipulative, right? And so a lot of times you'll meet somebody and you'll be having this illusion of action. You meet somebody, you start putting all that work in, you're calling them, you're hitting them up, you're showing them your best traits, but in the back of your mind, you're just waiting for them to get comfortable so you can become who you are. The illusion of action. See, you doing all this action, but you're not really truly working on yourself. And every time you meet somebody, I'm putting this work in over here, I'm showing them, no, but you got to do the real work. See, the real work, God told me, you keep going out meeting people, but it ain't got nothing to do with them. It got to do with you. You see, if I would have been concentrating on my purpose, if I would have been concentrating on my workout journey, you need to be in there with a little discipline. You need to be able to show yourself that you can invest in yourself first. I don't care nothing about nobody with a good job. People always say, man, I got a good girl, got a good woman. Educated, makes 6 figures, cook, all of that. God came and told me, he said, you're supposed to be the leader. Would you care how much money she make? I said, dang. Because if you was worried about what you was doing and you was going home, bring it home and get what you need to get, you don't care what she make. She can make 0. I'm going to send you a person that it ain't got to be monetary. She just going to sit, she going to be by your side and put you in a level where you need to be, where you can get that yourself. It don't matter. I don't care if my wife make no money. She can sit here because my mentality is she just here to help and add extra to the increase that I'm already going to get. Ain't no pressure. But then again, God had to tell you and work with you. Because when you about your purpose and you about your stuff and you as a man got it together and you focused and you got a schedule and you know what'll happen? People say, well, I want to be a leader. I'm gonna need to be a person where a woman got to follow me. Well, listen, leadership ain't leadership if you got to tell somebody you a leader. A king ain't a king if he got to remind people he a king. She gonna follow you based on your hustle and your grind and the way you act and way you project. See, you're not gonna be projecting insecurity. You ain't going to be projecting weakness. See, a lot of times I was bravado. The reason they didn't follow me before is because they didn't believe in me. Because I didn't believe in myself. It was all talk, no action. And the illusion of action is worse than not doing nothing. Because in the illusion of action, what you'll actually start doing is you'll start fooling yourself. And you'll start telling yourself you putting work in. You ain't putting no work in. It's the same way with the Cleveland Browns. It's the illusion of action. You think you going out doing your due diligence, looking at all these quarterbacks, but you didn't do the work on yourself. You didn't do the work on what the organization should be doing. You didn't ask the question, do I got the fundamental coach to even get what we need to get done? Do we have the right culture? And do we have somebody that believes in people? Not the illusion of being a solid coach with an Ivy League background. Do you have people that believe in what you're saying, that they understand you care about them as people, you want them to be the best, and that all that matters is in this room? If you ain't got that, you'll be out here on dating apps every week, going on dates 3 to 4 times a week. And every time it ends bad. You know why? Because you keep faking like you're working on yourself and you're still in the same spot. So you can go get Kyler Murray. You can go get Anthony Richardson. You can go get Malik Willis. But until the Cleveland Browns understand that you need to be accountable and you need to develop and you need to fix what you got in that room, you'll never get somebody and be what it is, because it's not a silo. You got to build on this side, and come together and build together. But you always running around on dating sites looking for people that's broken people just like you are. 2 broken people can't have no relationship. And the thing about it is, you so broken, you couldn't even tell the difference between a good match or a bad one. And that's what we doing right now. I told you to stick around. We're not done. I told you to stick around. Let's talk about this. The illusion of leadership. We alluded to it. Leadership ain't something you just say. Leadership is something that's in you. It's an action. It's a noun. It's a verb. It's an adjective. It's a lifestyle. And when you have leadership, it ain't all about the highs of leadership. It's the lows of leadership. And one of the things that you guys have an issue with is the fact that when you're a leader, your job is to look and assess. Todd Monken had already told y'all, I want to figure out what we got in this room. I want to see. The only way you see what's going on in the room is through adversity. It ain't from what you think is nice. See, you guys want to fast forward everything. I'll use myself for an example. I found the person I was supposed to be with. But guess what? It's all cute, fun and games when you're doing the K-1 visa and you're talking over line. You're talking over the line, you know, you're doing face chat, and you guys, it's during COVID and you guys is all together, and it's us versus the world. We'll make it through COVID. All that good stuff, and K-1 visas, all we need is love to get us through. And then that person get here, and guess what you got to do? Lead. See, it's easy running around leading yourself. But how do you lead somebody else? By themselves. How do you get 2 people who are used to leading, both Scorpios, both accomplished? How do you lead? And you got to lead, and that person's whole life and culture is in a different language. My little stories ain't gonna hit the same. She come from a different place. So what do? Sometimes with having a leader and being a leader means that I got to admit that this ain't going to be an easy process. I got to admit that, you know what? I don't got all the answers. you know what? I got to admit that sometimes I got to trust you. Sometimes I got to admit that I got to trust you. Even I know it might end up being bad, I got to give you an opportunity. I remember the first time, I hope she don't mind me. First time Rosie came up for a interview, right? At work. I said, man, you need to get a raise. And she was resistant to it. She was like, man, no, listen, I need to put, I'm not ready for it. I'm like, bro, you do so much work. You need, so I was at it. And then God dealt with me and he said, listen, some lessons I'm going to teach you, you're going to learn from. Some lessons I'm going to teach both of y'all together as a couple, you're going to learn from. But some lessons I got to teach your wife on her own. And what I need you to do is sit back and watch me work. Your job is to be supportive. Because if it don't work, you need to be there to be supportive. But it ain't about you. It's about me showing her what she needs to do in this job market where she's comfortable and maneuver her own career. And I said, you're right. You're right. You know what I did? I said, what I need to do is I need to work hard. If she ain't gonna ask for whatever she gonna ask for, I need to get it. So whatever she brings is an added bonus. 2 years later, she came around and said, you know what? I'm glad you fell back. She learned America. She learned her job. See, what she didn't understand was, where she come from, they come from a hardworking society. And what they want is they want a track record. See, like, I want to show them I'm worth that. I want to show them in 2 years that this is what I'm worth. And I want to show them so much that what I want to do is I want them to come give me the money. Because then they know I'm worth it. Came full circle. Never ask for less or more than you know you're going to get. Because at a certain point in time, it ain't going to be about the money no more. It's going to be about whether or not you feel like you in the right place or not. Because then when they come back and give you the money, they'll come back and you're going to say, they appreciate what I bring to the table. See, leadership for the Cleveland Browns is also understanding, you know what? We need to make a decision. It's either him, the quarterback, or this dude over here. And coming back being like, you know what? We tripped. We didn't get it right the first time. We had Dillon Gabriel playing. We tripped. We need to pivot. We need to figure it out. And sometimes being a leader means laying in your bed and taking what comes with it. It means taking what comes to whatever comes with that. And one of the things that came with that is the simple fact that if you make a decision, you must be accountable for it. See, everybody is running around here in the city of Cleveland talking about running around, my gosh, get rid of Deshaun Watson, get rid of the quarterback room, get rid. See, that just goes to show me you guys have the illusion of accountability. You're not interested in accountability is sitting here understanding that you cannot cut Deshaun Watson and field a team because you made a mistake. Now what are you going to do? You're going to compound a mistake by going about and getting all these other quarterbacks and paying them $40 million and still have to pay him a dead cat move if you move? No. Accountability is saying, well, we're going to make this work. And it may be uncomfortable, but that's what we have to do. That is part of leadership. You can't fast forward. You can't duck and skate. And some things you can't wipe off the board. You can't wipe it off the board. So yes, Deshaun Watson didn't work and Baker turned out to be good. Now what are you going to do about it? You going to sit there and tuck tail and go to sleep? What, you going to sit up, pout and cry? Or you going to pound the table and say everything about the Cleveland Browns is terrible? Or do you dig down, find somebody that's interested and showing you what they believe you can be in that locker room? You think Andrew Berry didn't come in and he slid what his roster and plan was to all them other coaches? And guess what? They turned it down one by one. I can't do that. You want Deshaun Watson and Shedeur playing? No, I'm cool on that. Listen, man, I don't like the roster. What you mean, Jimmy too overbearing? I don't want that. One by one, they came in. And one by one, they all left. But in life, all you need is one. All you need is one. All you need is one opportunity, one shot. And I'm not saying nothing I didn't know. Because, hey, Shedeur Sanders, all he needed was one opportunity and one shot. He got it. He made the best of it. Guess what? He's here. All Ty Monken needed was one opportunity and one shot of somebody that was willing to give him a chance. Because he knew he wanted to sit at the table and be a top guy in this industry. 1 of 32, generational money. And it's the pinnacle of his career. All you need is one shot. I don't need two. Give me one person that got the same energy and effort as me. What I needed to learn in all them relationships was I didn't need 17 women. No, just give me one solid one that's really down and understand you, that's willing to actually be in the trenches. All I need is one shot. All I need is one opportunity. Give me one show. You give me one show on the radio, you can't tell nobody that's going to do it like me. Because I layer it different. And I understand what God gave me. All you need is one. And so when it comes to accountability and leadership and action, the Cleveland Browns fan base has not seen it. These are illusions. You've read it in magazines. You watched it on Rudy. You watched it on the Hoosiers. You watched it on television. But see, there's a problem. There's a lot of y'all who ain't never had to live it. See, I had to live with the fact that, hey, you're not good enough to go to the NFL. Hey, I had to live with the fact that, hey, I got a degenerative neck disease from football. Huh? I got to live with, hey, I might wake up and my arm don't work today. Right? But that character that was built by that is the same thing that gives me the confidence and the infrastructure to say things and do things that nobody would say and do, because I understand I've been through it and it can get a lot worse. So when you're talking about people and why people is interacting and moving this way, it's because it is. We are in a city where people is moving from relationship to relationship and speed dating to speed dating. They trying to find somebody that make them feel good, that's going to take them and carry them. But what they don't understand is they got to do the work on their own. They got to do the work on themselves to attract the right person. And sometimes when you don't even have the work done, you don't even have the lens to see the right person. And they might walk right past you. See, timing is great. I would rather be in the right time and place than at the wrong one. Because when you're at the wrong time and place, you can't even look. Because you only might got one shot. Is you mentally prepared for it? Is you physically prepared for it? Have your life experiences put you in a position that you got the right perspective? Can you appreciate when you get it? Can you learn to cherish it and cultivate it? If you're in the wrong time and space, no, you're not. You just keep flailing your arms, looking around, hoping for somebody to come save you, when all you needed to do is dig down to yourself, do the work on yourself, and know that you save yourself, and then you attract somebody else to add to it. I'm just saying. I mean, y'all can go watch these other joints. They'll tell you about Kyler Murray, but I try to give you life lessons, because a lot of this stuff people be doing, they're doing it in real life. A lot of this stuff, they be this is real life. A lot of these people be telling on themselves. A lot of these things that people be saying, they saying this because they going through some real stuff at where they living. They going through some real stuff because some of the stuff people be saying, they not saying it about players. They saying it about them. They just don't know how to use it. They don't know. They don't understand how to express themselves in a way and understand. I'm not, and the reason I use all me tonight is because I was no different than none of these people. I wasn't no different. We all human, all fallible. But let me just tell you, when I started to really start looking at myself and say, what changes do I need to make that's going to put me in a trajectory where I can start to actually figure out life? It started from looking here. I want thumb pointers, not finger pointers. How can the Cleveland Browns get better? Not what other quarterback that I can go get out here. How can we go do what we need to do? What do we need to work on offensively that we can get our quarterbacks to play better? Now, let me go get your quarterback that you see the difference between thumb pointers and finger pointers? It is what it is. I didn't talk too long. We get to the super chats. We appreciate y'all. And you look, you pulled up, it's 1,931 in here. Hit the like button. We need people to see that. We need people to see why it is people be saying this stuff. And we can't do that without this blog getting out here, so I appreciate you in advance. Let's get to our super chats. Dang. Y'all cats out here. Y'all like this on a Wednesday? Y'all out here like on a Wednesday like this? Wednesday night service? Miss Bell, love the new coach Mike Ruttenberg, energetic, and told Mary Kay he tries to be where his feet are. Talk about being positive with the team. Miss Bell, I love the fact that Miss Bell now she has her emoji. Now we can see Miss Bell. We appreciate you. Miss Bell, obviously the matriarch of the new Cleveland movement. Miss Bell, we appreciate you. Dr. Green says, G. Bush, sorry, but Zach is just awful. Listen, I'm gonna tell you what. I personally like Zach. Zach's my guy. Zach got his opinion. I ain't with Malik Willis. Now, look, if you want to come and give me a flyer of Anthony Richardson for free, I guess. But you already know where I'm standing. And by the way, on UCSS, Zach said it too. I said, Shedeur Sanders is by overwhelmingly the most likely person to be the starting quarterback. He said, yeah, I agree with that too. So we came out, listen, everybody got their own opinion. Did you hear Mel Kiper and Tony go off on ESPN Cleveland today? You should pull those clips. Amazing watch. I didn't even see that super chat, but this is how you know, Dr. Green, I'll be plugged in. See, I did show those clips, so we appreciate you. Cash the boss. Stefanski will be booed in Atlanta. If you know, you know. By the way, let me tell you something. Cleveland Browns fans. Cleveland Browns team. Under no circumstances can we lose to Kevin Stefanski this year. We got to have that game. I need the stadium packed. I need boos. I need all the above. We cannot lose that game. I done already told them. No. Under no circumstances are we taking that L to them. No. Sapper Daddy, we appreciate you, my guy. They're talking about Ty Simpson in the first round. If not, they want Anthony Richardson. They're old running sub 540 times and sub 10-yard shuttles, and this is what the media is entertaining. Yeah, listen, I was planning on coming on here and doing, look, I give y'all all kind of different content. I was on Sean King. I've been giving you receiver content. I'm going to probably still give you another one. We're going to come in here and probably next Wednesday, what we're going to do, we're going to do a mock draft. We're going to mock draft. We'll do it live, and we'll pick, hey, let's see if we take best available here. Let's see if we go defense heavy. We'll start doing mock drafts live. But I was going to do this, but the Kyler Murray stuff, people was, you know how it is. I wasn't on the show today. People, G. Bush, we need one. We need one. Ms. Bell, with the effort Kevin Stefanski put into Dillon Gabriel, why didn't he take him to Atlanta? He needed a quarterback, and Dillon is a supercomputer. Inquiring minds want to know. Oh, no, Ms. Bell. Listen, here's how they did that in Atlanta. Ownership told him, listen, we cannot, listen, I know you like Dillon. Under no circumstances can you bring him down here. Because what's going to happen is them folks going to say, oh, you tried it again? They even took Kirk Cousins off the board. Nah, you can't do that. BET Awards is not having it. Esquire Awards, nope. Jet Magazine, they're not having it. Not having it. Dr. Green. But G. Bush, people around the league said, but the anonymous scouts was telling us. Patrick Williams, G. Bush, Cleveland Toxic Media refused to see what's in front of them. Coach Monk took a picture of who he wants as quarterback. This was on his page. I did see that. It's readily available. But here's the thing. I don't even a lot of it, these guys don't even believe it. At this point, that's why we broke it down the way we did today. This is a deeply rooted issue, and it's a hero complex. We've romanticized other quarterbacks because we secretly want our own, but we romanticize what it's all about and how you go about developing them. See, they fast forwarded. Some people is infatuated with the thought of being in love rather than actually what a relationship is about. Sometimes people are more in favor of what the fairy tale of a wedding is, and not how do you stay together after the wedding. Statistics show that the more extravagant a wedding is, the more likely the relationship is to fail quicker than others. I've done it. I done postponed the wedding. I done spent $25,000, $30,000 on the wedding, and I was divorced in 18 months. It's a charade. You know good and well when you were standing up there, you shouldn't have been talking about no marriage. Your foundation wasn't even it. To be truthful, if you want to be honest in the work you did, I married that person based on what another person had did. I married, the second relationship started terribly because I got into it based on I was still hurt from the previous one. You see how that works? If I wouldn't have been, I should have done the work on why I was so distraught after the relationship and the engagement went wrong of the previous relationship, that if I would have done the work on myself, I would have never been in a relationship to even be divorced a second time. But I will always say this, the way God works in a mysterious way, all to the favor of those who love the Lord. And without being divorced was the catalyst that put me on the path to where I am today. Because it was so financially, spiritually, emotionally wrecking that it forced me to burn down every misconception that I ever had, and I had to start back from ground zero, only looking at what he was telling me to do. Without that, I wouldn't be here today talking to you. Without that, the divorce, my trajectory wouldn't even be the same. I might not even be doing sports talk. Just keep it real with you. Sapper Daddy, to seriously want us to pass up all this talent in the draft to go draft a half-baked QB in the first round or waste $30 million on. Yeah, Sapper Daddy, the problem is, I've already said this. They wouldn't, again, here's another part. They wouldn't tell that for their favorite team. See, that's another thing. I can speak from this. That's my favorite team. I only got one team. I ain't rooting for nobody else. If the shoe was on the other foot, they wouldn't be sitting there. Hey, Jackson Dart, right? Ask a question. Why Jackson Dart? Think about this. Why ain't nobody talking about Kyler Murray for the Giants? Because they like Jackson Dart. Why ain't nobody talking about Kyler Murray for the Saints? Because they like Shook or the Titans. It's because they got a quarter. Think about it. What is the difference? The Raiders is drafting Mendoza. Why ain't nobody telling the Raiders to draft or to take Kyler Murray? It's because they believe. Now watch this. Watch this. Is Mendoza better than Kyler Murray right now? Most people would say no. But why is that argument not used to justify the Raiders taking Kyler Murray? Because it's stupid. They understand it's not about being better right now. It's about the long-term viability. It's about the financial ramifications. It's about team building. It's about hope. It's about building for the future. No one says, I want to buy this house if I want to be the most comfortable for the next year. You buy a house with a 30-year outlook. You don't buy a house that has 2 bedrooms when you and your family is planning to have 3 kids and 1 is on the way just because it has the amenities now. Well, I'll be more comfortable, has a nice basement and a man cave. Bro, it ain't about what the house is for now. It's about what the long-term viability is. What do you want to do in 30 years? Well, I want to have 3 kids and I want to have space. Well, why would you buy this condo? Because it's more comfortable today. Make it make sense, G. Bush. This is why we do the show. JB Smooth, this mad dash for a quarterback is just an attempt to avoid accountability. The worst fear is that 12 becomes exactly what they believe he can be. All the trade him and worst quarterback take is just an escape. JB Smooth, you got something there. Because if he does play, look, because if he does, it's hope. If he does play, if he is a franchise quarterback, you're going to have to really, how do you get out of that? How do you get out of that? Because some people, like the off-ramp was there. After like the 6 games, at least you could have did this if you were smart. You could have said, listen, a lot of people had a lot to say about him, but I'm going to tell you what. He came out and showed some stuff. You know, it wasn't perfect, but he was exactly the opposite of what other people were saying. He's not disrespectful. He works hard. The locker room likes him. And I do think he deserves to get a shot to compete for the starting role. If you just said that, everything you said prior to that would have been washed away because at least you would have been honest. You could have been like, you know what? All right, I like this dude. You know, I mean, I didn't agree with what he said before, but at least he's going to come back and give us something and be like, okay, I see what you're saying with that. But the fact that you tripled down and said he's just not good, as if we didn't have eyes or a television, is wild work. Actually, it's propaganda work, to be truthful. Terrell the what have you done for me lately people held on a preseason game, but soon as 12 lead a 2-minute drive to win the game to the end of the season, then it was, but it was a meaningless game against a team that wasn't doing anything. Okay, that's what it is. Like you said, we needed milk and Pampers, a.k.a. wide receiver and offensive line. It's all good, y'all. Appreciate the super chat. You talk about, if you guys didn't know what we was talking about, I was on UCSS, I was talking about Titus and Zach. And I said, listen, we talking about, people's, even the Browns, I don't like the Titus Howard signing because, they gave up on him. I'm like, bro, Titus Howard is better than any tackle we got right now. It's not debatable. He was a starting tackle for a playoff team. You look at his pressures, you look at his sacks given up. By any metric, he's better. And just because I watch linemen, I know he's better. But the problem is people say, oh, that was a terrible move. I said, they overpaid. I said, that's like you in the middle of the night. I said, Ty, but you got kids, right? He said, yep. That's like your wife wake up in the middle of the night, the baby crying, screaming. She got to go to work tomorrow. You wake up, ain't no milk, ain't no Pampers. It's 12:30. Only place open is like a Walgreens. You go in a Walgreens and you move around, you're looking around and say, hey, you get to the cashier. Yeah, hey, you got Pampers in here? You're like, yeah, we got a small selection in the back. You might check. You go back there. It's the wrong Pamper sizes, and they cost $45. But you're like, can it fit? Sure. I need to get back to the crib. My wife is tripping. Are you going to go to the cashier, put the Pampers up there and say, hey, how much are these? I don't know, $45? This is kind of expensive. I might want to go to another. No. It's 12:30. Your kid is crying. You need milk and Pampers. Who cares how much they cost? It could be $1 million. It could be $100. You're going to put whatever it costs, you're going to swipe that card and get back to the house. The Cleveland Browns don't have no lineman under contract. And you're going to sit up here and try to tell me and play smart, talk about they kind of overpaid. $12.30 at Pampers and a baby crying, ain't no such thing as overpay. Alexander Gallant, the Browns have the opportunity to build a football team by the draft and free agents. Good players around Shedeur and Coach Monken. There it is. Very wise, very medium. See how easy that was to say? Big One J, seems all the ex-NFL haters on 12 were backups at best. I don't even, listen, Acho, come on, bro. You got to be better. I don't know. Get shady. What is your man's talking about? Acho was doing breakdowns of Shedeur games, compliment him, and then go on the show and bash him, and people subscribe to this show. I can't do it, Miss Bell. He was doing them breakdowns. I think Matt Barnes called him out, bro. You was doing them breakdowns and everything, but now you talk about, and then he tried to sabotage him. Talk about, hey, you shouldn't listen to Todd Monken at all. What? I don't know, dog. Beautifully blessed. So glad this was said. The idiotic statement made on UCS today was that somehow Kyler Murray would win the Browns 10 games, made me want to puke. I mean, he didn't win the Cardinals 10 games. People in Arizona was like, bro, he got 2 regimes fired. What are you talking about? He was hurt half of last year. Where are these 10 wins for the Cardinals? I'm confused. Intel play 3 years of random quarterback tanks and talk. I'm tired, boss. Look, by the way, Intel plays, we've been doing this same song and dance for the last 4 years. We went through it with Baker. We went through it with Deshaun Watson. We went through it the retreads with Jacoby Brissett, the DTR experiment, Flacco for a half a day, Kenny Pickett. We've been doing this for 3-4 years. The problem is we won't let them remix it no more. They're like, G. Bush, you're doing too much. No, we're just not going to let you keep dropping the same album. It's the same song. It's the same song. It's the same Little Baby song. It's the same Little Baby has like one song. It's just a different beat, slightly different flow. It's the same song. Shout out to Little Baby, by the way. Ms. Bell, 6 years, 14 undeveloped quarterbacks under the same coach. Cleveland media need to talk knitting and crocheting before they talk quarterback. And we don't know what we're looking at all. We don't know. We don't know, Ms. Bell. Nita says, what is it with the NFL? People want to rotate losing quarterbacks like they want to rotate losing head coaches. You're right. Critical thinking is a skill, and a lot of these analysts don't have it. Nita, what are we doing? You want to take other people's quarterbacks that got those guys fired, and you want to recycle them, and then make up that they give you the best chance to win. How? No, it's the safest name. See, that's the thing also, too. You got to realize, too, humans are averse to change. You want to see somebody freak out? Tell them they've been doing the job for 5 years. They get to work one day and tell them there's a new compliance law. There's a new script. There's a new way we have to send emails. Hey, guys, there's a new parking lot where you need to park in the morning. Hey, there's a new scanning. Hey, timesheets are different. Watch how many grown adults freak out. People with children, taxes, whole families, life insurance will freak out at the smallest little bit change. What do you mean we have to tap our badge and then go through the side, not the front door? How am I going to get my work done? It takes a whole 36 extra seconds to do that step. I've been here. It worked fine for me for years. Come on. They like quarterbacks with familiar names. Again, because they don't really like watching college football or new quarterbacks or analyzing the tape. So therefore, it feels comfortable. Mm-hmm. I don't want want just Marvin Harrison Jr. I want DJ Moore too. If they can get a deal similar to Amari Cooper, Operation Stockpile is here. Hey, saying so, I like what you're talking about. you're not even focused. This is what I'm talking about. This is where we're trying to get to, saying so. We're not looking for one. We need multiple. We are looking for multiple linemen, receivers, playmakers. And guys, watch this. Is it easier to evaluate and to get a quarterback to play well that's already in your building, in your system, that you know that you had conversations with, or a guy who you have no clue about that just got released, that's looking to play a certain style of football in order to get in a contract next year? And then if he does play decent, what are you going to do? What are you going to sign him to a contract? You already got a quarterback that's expensive, that's in behind. Again, Sarita Allen, hey, G. Bush, it's been a while. Shedeur is Monken's guy. During an interview, Monken said how he said that how did Shedeur get his reps during training camp or on the field during games? He knows Stefanski did Shedeur dirty. Sarita Allen, we appreciate you. We always looking for you. We appreciate the generous super chat. And let me just tell you this. Todd Monken and the coaching staff, I listen, I give them respect because they sound like old school football coaches that I used to know. They straight shooters. I talked to what's the name? I talked to Sean King. He said, man, Todd is a fair dude. You know what I respect more than I respect from even Kevin Stefanski in his little bit? He don't go out of his way to be disrespectful. The problem a lot of people got in that locker room was Kevin Stefanski's non-answers and non-committal stuff was borderline disrespectful because he was being non-committal, like he couldn't say his name, but behind closed doors, he was telling everybody in the world all this other nonsense and propaganda, and then trying to act and sit in front of you as if he was above board being professional. No, you wasn't. You was backbiting, doing all kind of stuff behind the scenes, throwing shade, doing all kind of the work. And then when you get in front of the screens, you looking around like, I'm just being professional. Hey, how do you think Shedeur is doing? Well, all of our young players, shut up with that. All of our, that's disrespectful. If you ask me a question about Kevin Stefanski and I say, well, all coaches, no, you ask me a question about Kevin Stefanski, I'm going to give you a straight answer as a man about Kevin Stefanski. But that eventually caught up with you. It did. Ms. Bell, if you're a leader, look back and see who's following. If no one is following, you just taking a walk. You on a leisurely walk at that, Ms. Bell. Big 1J, tell them, G. Bush, they reach, you teach. Your hands was caught in a cookie jar. Guess what? I didn't say no names today, did I? Nope. Do the media know KM's contract required him to watch film? Yeah, we knew that. Roy M. Wale. Yeah, like they put that in his contract. He had to have the iPad. The iPad was like, it was basically, it gave a reading of how much they could check to see if he was going over film during the week, which was crazy work. Like, man. Beautifully blessed. We needed an emergency barbershop meeting. The mess was diabolical. A 3-14 quarterback, a 7-year losing streak, whose team says, yeah, but don't care that you're still on the payroll, gonna get out of here, is the best option to win. Well, I always said, you're gonna have a very difficult time if you're arguing with people who believe that anonymous rumors from guys that are journalists around the league who they can't mention or won't mention are more impactful than what Hall of Fame players, coaches, and current people in the locker room say on record. You're not going to win that need or beautifully best. You're not. Anything you say is not going, it ain't, you wasted your time with them. Why you think I get on here and play? I play countless. I give you coaches, I give you players, I give you former guys in the locker room. They don't have a problem saying what they like about Shedeur, but every time we get on the TV, it's about what you've heard or other. That's an alternate universe now. Come on now. Big One J, don't worry, Barbershop, I'm working for free with G. Bush when he's catering those crow sandwiches with no Kool-Aid on. Them crow sandwiches. Hey, man, look, bro. I wish you the best, bro. Listen. I don't even think this is crazy to me. Because if you listen to anything that I'm saying, it's not nothing that I wasn't saying pre-draft. What changed? The 7 games, I've been consistent. The 7 games I've seen, did I tell you that Shedeur was the best quarterback in the league at them 7 games? No. What I still don't understand all the rage. What are you fighting against? We've been consistent. He's still been consistent. Lula Davison, your future is so bright. I see so much promotion and levels that no one will be able to stop. They will be jealous and try, but it's from God. Hey, I appreciate it. Look, man, I don't do a lot of this stuff. I don't do it. Here's the thing. I don't do it for no monetary gain. I do it because I feel like there's certain things people need to hear, or there's a motivation. It's a word for you. It's something in it. It's deeper than that. That's why I never get bogged down on none of it. Because for me, it's deeper than that. Like I'm going through a journey just like everybody else. It's deeper than that. I just get a look. I'm happy I get to run a business with my family and see my dad and mom get to enjoy certain things. And it'd be like, man, they never thought they was gonna get to go on vacation or do certain things, or I just get an opportunity to go places and to live out that later on in their life, we get to enjoy things as a family. Or I enjoy being able to do blogs with my wife, right? You know what I'm saying? I enjoy being able to do things like that, or I enjoy being able to talk to players behind the scenes that come up to me and say, you know what, G. Bush, man. Some of them say, bro, you crazy. Boy, you crazy. I ain't like some of the stuff you say, but let me tell you something. I appreciate how you keep it real. I appreciate how you know what I'm saying? Like the way you talk. I appreciate that. And there's some people you'll never know because it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? It do matter that they reach out, and that's between what we talked about, how we move. But I'm not in it for no, hey, I talked to 17 people. Because at the end of the day, I ain't about that. I'm up here we trying to uplift people. We trying to really, like, I don't want nothing. Look, people say all the time, if I never got a player interview, I would be okay. If I never got one from nobody, I would be just fine. I'm cool doing this right here. Sometimes I'll be looking around. People be like, listen, hey, you want to run this nonprofit? Sometimes I don't even, because I don't like the burden of that. The first thing you do, and I got a lot of charities and the people like that I donate to them. I would much rather give my time, right? But you know how it is nowadays. I'm just allergic to it. People, oh, you messing the money up. You done embezzled some money, or you done took some money. Nah, bro. I would rather just give my money and be like, here, and don't anybody know about it. I don't want nobody to speak foul or nothing. I don't even want to mention certain things because I know how people get. They get to be hating. Oh, G. Bush said this, and no. I would rather do it in silence and work in silence because I really am just cool with just doing how God want me to do it and just staying low. G. Bush, I was with you until you said, don't say how much you want to make or not. I have a bottom line for working. I'm worth every dime I ask for. Hey, you right. Show and prove. You worth everything. Miss Bell, no. She worked for every dime. I don't know. Miss Bell's pension is long. Her super chat game is one of them. I mean, she is unbothered. The aunties might be a Catholic church. I don't know. The aunties, they collectively own land. They own multiple businesses. I listen, they are the syndicate. If you want, like, they the same people that got Lupe Fiasco's album released. Y'all might be anonymous. Like, listen, y'all, yeah, man. Y'all do your thing, man. Don Juan 84. Should the Browns try to get Trent Williams for the 49ers and Stephon Diggs since he's getting I don't gotta listen. If they can get both of them, Project Stockpile is alive and well. I don't know how they're gonna do it. I'm down. My wife said, you know, Stephon Diggs. I said, man, what you know about Stephon Diggs? Since when you start being in the weeds of these transactions? You know, she date that Cardi B. Cardi B. You know Cardi B was on Bad Bunny halftime show. Say, you know, you've been corrupted. Look at you. You trying to be somebody? You was on allhiphop.com. Look at you. She knew who 3 whole people was. I was like, oh, that's so cute. Okay, don't ask her what song they sing, though. Mr. Gribble, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Can we get a listen, Dr. Green, you be one step ahead. Remember, I told you, we're gonna give you, we got you, right? We gonna get you next Wednesday. We're gonna get that mock draft stream. We're gonna go through best available. We're gonna talk about maybe a trade scenario. We can talk about, we got it coming. Neither. They talk about random quarterbacks because they have nothing else to talk about. They have been told numerous times the cap space, team position needs. Been listening since Shedeur was drafted. Same irrelevant conversations. See, Nita she's in her non-bothered phase in life. See, a lot of y'all is in the non-bothered phase as you guys are transitioning into the season. You're like, yeah, last week was Malik Willis. Didn't seem like that was working anyway, right? Rob Cunningham, G. Bush, how much of the quarterback talk is just content versus actual? Oh, it's all content. It's all content. That's the reason I layered it the way I did. Because remember when I said, you know, let's take a look at Kyler Murray. Here's the 3 teams that they got him rumored to go through. I also played the tweet. Shout out to Xavier P. And I said, listen, guys, think about it like this. It has to be a 2-way street. Kyler Murray actually literally has to what? Literally want to go to a place. It's just not, you just throw a name out there like that. He actually has to want to go there. And I think a lot of times people think of it as just content because if you're Kyler Murray and you need a best opportunity to show so you can get another, his contract's up after this year. Do you want to go there? And they've already said that Deshaun Watson is going to compete. Shedeur Sanders. So you're going to come there to Cleveland and have to compete for the job or go somewhere where they want you and possibly be the starter and get another contract. The Browns are not in a position where they are right now in their track record where they are to be to entertaining these types of quarterbacks. It's just not feasible. I stand on the draft offense with the first 4 players. Alexander Gallant. You know what I'm gonna tell you too, and I'm here to tell you why. The reason why we're gonna do mock drafts, a lot coming up on here, is because I'm gonna tell you like the coaches. I don't know. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's another thing. I'll be lying to y'all. When they say with the coach, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what they're gonna do I don't know, guys. I do not know what they're going to do with these picks. They could trade them. They could take defensive players. They could get a bunch of guys in free agency, and then they could trade down. I don't know. I just don't know. So I'm with y'all. We're gonna be looking around for a little bit. CC Clark 8280, bringing up Kyler is laughable and instantly makes you worse. As soon as I saw it, I clicked off the show today. We riding with 12. Yeah, listen, ain't nobody bringing in Kyler Murray. Like, an injury-prone, smallish quarterback that you're going to have to pay a contract. In that case, why wouldn't you? See, that's another thing, too. In our minds, we think Deshaun Watson is damaged goods. But in other teams' minds, they think Kyler Murray and Richardson are damaged goods. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's the eye of the beholder. Like, it's funny because Arizona is doing the same thing that we're doing. Like, oh, man. And if you really wanted to kick the can on something, you play Deshaun Watson. This whole conversation, even if you take Shedeur Sanders out of the list, if Shedeur Sanders wasn't in the game, you still would have Deshaun Watson here. That's why it just makes absolutely no sense. Natural Abshir. My theory is the Cleveland media Rizzo is making his bet on 12 so he can get an interview before the season starts. Everyone else is betting on his failure. Oh, no, betting is happening. That ain't, hey, that's a very good theory. The way it's set up, the problem is this is a new game. So the new game is there's never been really a fan base like the people that really rock and roll with Shedeur Sanders. And they are a fan base that is not very forgiving. So they was like, yo, when y'all was trolling us, we gonna get you back. And it was one of them things where this hadn't been, that it didn't really work like that before. It was like usually people could write what they want, say what they want, and it's cool. Now they got to turn on them timelines, and them timelines is jumping with people from all over the world who is not invested in, like, they just get back. So now everybody is kind of making their thoughts. There's some people that's going to be, in the middle. But I also think, too, it's like wishful thinking. If you know they're not going to bring another quarterback in, and you know who's pretty much going to start then, right? Then what happens if they really go all in on making the team better? See, then you really got a problem, because now it's like, dang, well, they is better. They do got another coach. This might actually work. They might actually be good. Jab 9237, they rolling with Shedeur unless Watson comes out undeniable. So good, even Shedeur would say, yeah, Watson is him. It's even more difficult than that, because you have to look at Shedeur is under contract for little or no money. Deshaun Watson, if he won the job, it's his last year on the contract. That puts you in a situation that if you did win more games than you thought, say you win 7-8 games, now you have to mortgage more picks. You ain't in a position to get a quarterback. Plus, are you going to sign Deshaun Watson to a long-term extension? So now you got to go back and make the can you imagine them giving him another deal and something else happen where maybe he gets injured? Maybe. No, it's too messy. If Shedeur gets hurt or something like that happens and Deshaun comes in and spot duty and plays well, that works well. But he's going to have to play he's going to have to do something, move mountains. And do it like that. Squizarm says, what up, G? Kyler is 5'8". He can't have him and Dillon back there looking like fifth grade water boys. How about our second rounder for Marvin Harrison Jr.? I'm down for it. Give me Marvin Harrison, and I need something else. I'm cool with that. Get Marvin Harrison Jr., give me a Romeo Dobbs, too. I need something. I might draft me another receiver. Chef Shea says, man, I can't wait till the Browns are over 500 a season with the chance of playoffs. And everyone says they knew Shedeur would be good. Everyone will be held accountable. Look, this is why I tell you. This is why. This is why people is hedging, because of that. JB Smooth. I'm going to keep it a stack, G. Bush. Why our guy got to compete? I agree with Emmitt Smith. Why he got to compete when the other young quarterbacks don't? Bump the humility. Because here's the reason why he got to compete. because I love what Shedeur's mindset is right now. We ain't even heard or seen him. Sean King said this, and I agree. What he went through last year put him in a position this year, well, he don't care no more. He don't care no more. He different. He in here grinding. He on that playbook. He right next to the coach where he's supposed to be. I don't care if I got to send him 7 horse heads. He right where he's supposed to be. It's the mentality. Iron sharpen iron. I want him to go in and play so well that everybody got to shut up. And then when he plays well and Todd Monken comes in and grind and he says, Shedeur Sanders, let me just tell you, watch. When you want to get rid of people off the books, you need to completely destroy them. And this is the way it happens. It's a quarterback competition. Shedeur Sanders leads start to finish. It's so undeniable that everybody on the team, all the veterans, the defense, everybody say, and Andrew Berry said, he's earned the right to be our starting quarterback for the entirety of the 2026 season. He is the starting quarterback the year. He is the quarterback. We are rolling with him. Don't ask us no questions if it's a 2-game losing streak. Don't ask us no questions if he throw a couple of picks. Don't ask us no questions about Dillon and the backups. Shedeur is the starting quarterback. Write it down, take a picture, and if he gets injured and is able to come back in the game, he'll be playing again. You know what that does? That completely destroys all narratives. Because at that point, ain't nothing to ask for. It's all shut down. But you know what can give you that insight and be able to get that off is when you say it was an open competition. Todd Monken believes in him. The organization believes in him. Stop talking to us. The only way you get that is by competing. Because if he didn't, there would be no way that they could tell them he's our starting quarterback and he's not going to come out the game. Because that would be the next one. It wouldn't even matter. If they gave him the job, that would be the next, because the goal would be, no, we got to get him up out of here. Now it's the next, how long is he the starting quarterback? Just tell you how they work. You can't apply logic to a fundamentally illogical situation. Save your brains and stop giving foolish people your energy. They are energy vampires. I agree. Renee in 5,000. Yes, the aunties money run deep. Yeah, listen. Y'all got wine vineyards places. Anthony LaFear. Why is Cleveland media so enamored with the project quarterbacks instead of developing their own? Give the young bull a chance. Dustin be hating. Man, I told you what it is, man. Look, like, a lot of this is conversation pieces. Ain't nothing to talk about. Ain't no new games happening. So you got to talk about something, right? Got to talk about something. But, I mean, think about it. We talked about Malik Willis. Think about if you was crying because I can't believe they said about Malik. Now all of a sudden Malik Willis ain't it. Then the next week it was Richardson. Now it's this guy. Come on. Diggs should come here. He doesn't have he don't have girlfriends here. You see, Miss Melanated, see? You yeah, that might be a thing. Man, I didn't expect to go this long. I didn't. I thought we was going to get in an hour or not, but I enjoyed myself. Hopefully you enjoy it. 1,930 people in here. Wherever you are, hit the like button, put the comments in there. If you agree, if you don't agree, let me know. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all our super chats and our members. We appreciate everyone. With that being said, make sure you check us out tomorrow. Titus and I will be back on Thursday for the wide receiver countdown, but here's what we're going to do. I thought about something. We're going to go and we're going to do a second look. You know, there's a lot of receivers. People say, G. Bush, did you take a look at this guy? G. Bush, what about this dude? We're going to give you another 10 receivers. We're going to make sure we cover all of the receivers that may have fallen through the cracks. You see, before we get to our main topic, And the only way you can catch this is make sure you join and subscribe to the channel, become a member of the Barbershop. And we will be on tomorrow, 6 o'clock, me and Titus, and we'll go over a second look. We got a couple of guys you might need to know about. Some of the tape, we'll give you an opportunity to see those guys. But with that being said, you never know what G-Bush might show at radio, television, internet. But if you want the fresh cut on sports, I keep the Clippers with me. You guys have a great rest of your evening. We appreciate you. And as always, you know what we talking about is go Browns.